very wonderful guest with us today. He's a seasoned information security and GRC professional with over 13 plus years of cross-industry experience spanning banking, fintech, IT services, government, and consulting. We are very excited to have Mr. Siddesh with us. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Siddesh.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shiv.
Great. So, Mr. Siddesh, if we can get a brief introduction about the work that you do, right, and the impact that you bring in.
Definitely. So first of all, thank you, Shiv, for giving this wonderful opportunity. And thank you all. Good evening, viewers. My name is Sid Nagaonkar. I'm an enterprise technology cybersecurity leader with 14 years of experience into banking, fintech, including government and multinational organizations. Having said so, I'm currently working as a Chief Information Security Officer in one of the well-known firms in Dubai, that is Direct on a Safe International Exchange, which is basically into crypto, where I manage and lead the entire enterprise cybersecurity. Also ensures that in line with the regulatory requirement, which is laid down by VARA, ISO 27001 and NIST framework. Having said so, I'm a DPO, that is Data Protection Officer, for one of the other group companies of the same organization. My experience span across cybersecurity risk management, incident management, cloud security, including AWS, Azure, business continuity planning, and last but not the least, digital forensics. Having said so, I'm also being a close advisor with regards to our board and CEO members for translating the technical risk into a clear business solutions, where I ensure that what is the current security posture, risk posture of with regards to the organization, where exactly the security investment required to get done. So I believe, and I always believe that of building a secure, scalable, and regulatory-ready ecosystem that can support the sustainable growth. So this is all about me. I would like to tell more about as the podcast continues. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think, thanks, Mr. Siddesh. Wonderful. I think your work span and your experience would add a great value to the people who are listening to us. Well, Mr. Siddesh, I will probably move on to now getting a few more insights from you, right?
Sure.
So, how has AI changed your threat landscape? So, as a CISO, right, we have seen that 18 to 24 months, AI has come in, and AI is creating a lot of changes in the way we work, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
how has AI changed your threat landscape in the last 18 to 24 months?
I would like to explain you with the example during my forensic period, approximately 10 years ago, when there was no phishing, means AI-related attacks. Phishing was there, but not AI-related attacks during that time. So normally, when any suspect commits any crime, we also ask, we ask the request police officers get that suspect over here in the forensic lab, demonstrate it, ask him to demonstrate like how exactly he conducted such kind of. So he tells us, okay, to conduct this kind of attack, he has to understand, he has to learn, he has to go through a lot of stuff. Then only the attacks were not easy. Okay, those required efforts and time. But right now, as you know, as because of the increase in AI, whoever handles mobile phones or laptops, they knows that how to make use of technology. They knows that how to draft a attack. So simply you have to give one prompt, and by giving that prompt, you will get a attack like phishing email attack in just fraction of seconds. So attack has become like user friendly, you can say, where a school going boy can also demonstrate or perform this phishing activity. So attack has become more hyper personalized. Deep voice, deep fake voice, what we see now, they can mimic your voice. Okay, AI is now automatically scanning your systems to ensure that to make that the vulnerabilities which are normally not so easily identifiable through your vulnerability, like it's a time consuming activities, but through AI now attackers get the complete information about the where exactly the weaknesses lies within the system. So you know that the attacker has become attacks are becoming faster, more smarter, harder to detect, and on the other hand, to support this to the attacker, our employees who are basically responsible for basically, because as you know, everyone uses GPT. I'm not saying that they are doing something wrong. Everyone uses it, make use of technology, but thing is use it wisely. If you upload some data, there is a data leakage. So which might be a confidential intellectual property of the organization. So in fact, I can say that the threat landscape has increased a lot in past 18 to 24 months. AI has increased the productivity, but parallelly it has increased the risk as well.
Excellent. I think this nails it. To be honest, yes, absolutely. If you want to create a attack, the CP, I think it has become much more easier today. Somebody who's not even from a hacker background or a cybersecurity background, right? So, or from a cyber background, right? Without any knowledge, they can still use the frontier models probably to prepare a recipe. So absolutely, yes, I think totally aligned with you on this. Thank you so much for that very valuable insight. Now, moving ahead, right, where do traditional cybersecurity frameworks fall short of?
Okay. So basically, a traditional cybersecurity framework basically used to protect your devices or the infrastructure like identity and access management. Basically, those concepts are with regards to identity and access management, data leakage prevention, SIEM. Those tools are used to monitor your access control, the file transfer that is happening, or with regards to your network activities. Okay, but this traditional information systems or traditional security systems, are those capable of managing the information, like those capable of managing the AI behavioral model that we say? Are they really capable of managing it or handling the incidents? Okay, which is like we say model, which we say data poisoning. So are such kind of incidents are really manageable through your traditional security tools? This is something which is a matter of concern right now. Rather than focusing simply on technology-based protection, we should, as a CISO or as a fraud investigator officer, we should also focus on how this AI part can be protected so that organization risk can be lowered down. Because as you know, ChatGPT and OpenAI are freely available, where data can be manipulated, data can be easily leaked out. So yes, these are traditional equipments or traditional security controls are not that much effective, which I personally feel.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Again, very valuable. So moving ahead, right, now, which of these AI risks concerns you? So there is data leakage, there is model manipulation, autonomous agents creating a lot of havoc. We have very recently seen OpenGlow and the whole model book thing happening, right? But from your perspective, right, which AI risk concerns you the most today?
So the biggest risk that I see today is shadow AI, where employees within the organization use unapproved tools, okay, which are not approved by the organization, where they uploads, okay, organization confidential information, okay, the essential information, the very proprietary or technical information, which is leaked out. And thing is, we are not aware where exactly this data is currently residing, where this data is currently moving. There is no such audit trails also associated to it. The thing is, if there is no audit trail, where there is no you can see that there is no, this is an invisible risk for an auditor, for an information security expert, or for a forensic expert. So investigating where in a dark, where there is no audit trails, there is no audit logs, so it is difficult for me as an fraud investigator and forensic expert, as well as chief information security officer. So biggest risk I personally feel that the shadow AI. The second risk that I feel is with regards to the autonomous AI agents, okay, which keeps on approving your transactions, okay, on a daily basis, okay, in a banking firm, basically, where automated emails are triggered, where business decisions were made, where payment payment loan triggering is done. So basically, you can imagine the scale on which such kind of information or such kind of approvals are handled by the autonomous agent, autonomous AI. So you can imagine if something bad happened with regards to this intelligence which is there in AI, it can, the kind of impact that will have, it will have not only from a overall scaling perspective, but also from a reputation perspective. So I personally feel that wherever there is no human intervention involved, AI definitely imposes risk. So yes, definitely it amplifies your risk. So think that when AI is used without any human risk or without any human, the risk becomes much more bigger. This is what I feel.
Absolutely, I think, thank you. So just to summarize, absolutely, I think shadow AI, where employees are using AI tools left and right,
Correct.
and from a management perspective, no one has a view like what is getting it,
True.
what is getting put into those systems, as
Absolutely.
there is no audit trail.
True.
And yes, as you rightly mentioned, that autonomous AI is something which is a worry, because we really don't know how the decisions are taken, and if we really don't know, how do we bring accountability? Thank you so much. I think this was very valuable. Well, I'm now switching the gears a bit, and I'm going, as you mentioned about the organization, I'm now switching the gears and bring the organization into picture, right? So, what is the biggest misconception organizations have about securing AI systems?
So earlier, what I feel that, okay, the misconception is they think that AI is basically, they consider AI like a normal tool. Okay. They think like the kind of security it should have, like they should implement the same kind of security like a normal other applications which is being used. Okay. So they are not worried like, okay, AI, basically it learns from the data that you are feeding. Okay. It is not like it is learning, it's a learning system that it gives non-determinable out it's a non-deterministic behavior, what we say, because whatever data that you are feeding to the system, it analyze those and provide you output. In fact, it is not a means predictable output that you are getting. Every time, whenever you feed any data, you can't expect the same output you will get from the AI tools. In fact, it gives you unpredicted outputs. It makes the decisions on behalf of you, like it has the capability of making the decisions. So instead of having a traditional application concept which gives a predictable output, we should think of AI as a, a, a sophisticated tool where it should have additional layer of security because of its feature, and not just have a same kind of controls that normally have for a traditional application, but advanced level of controls from a governance perspective, also from a overall monitoring perspective, so as to ensure that the data which is handled, the intelligence which is there, it is not um, it is not manipulated, it is in controlled through proper policies and procedures. So definitely, I believe that while dealing, this is the misconception that handling traditional way, same like traditional way to AI is, it will be a challenging for that organization from a security perspective. This is what I believe.
Very thoughtful, very thoughtful. I think most of the organization and leaders who are probably listening to us today would definitely take a lot of insights from what you have just advised them. Thank you. I will move ahead. So now let's say AI has entered production. Now, in a hierarchy, let's talk about enterprises, right? Who would truly own the risk of primarily the security, the data, IT, or business? Who would be owning the risk of AI as it enters into production?
So basically, what I feel is that with regards to the organization, there should be a proper accountability required to be defined. If suppose if AI makes any bad decision, now thing is who will be held responsible? Is it information security team, or is it IT team, that is information technology team, business team, or it will be a DevOps team or a application development team? Who will be held responsible? Because until and unless if any accountability is defined, we should not will not identify like who will help in resolving if any incident happen. Because as you know, AI is fast, smarter, it handles the data at a full scale. Okay, if we still are in a process of identifying who is accountable for this, you can imagine what will be the impact associated to it. For example, if business says that okay, it has been developed by a DevOps team, we are not responsible. So here the task which assigned to, because AI basically it does not have feelings like humans. It is programmed as per the intelligence. It will do it. It will not think twice that okay, whatever things I'm doing is bad or is wrong. No. If there is a slow response, definitely there will be an increased damage. So basically, what I feel is that there should be a proper pre-development or pre-deployment ownership uh, before uh, before we uh, before we go into a production. So this is what I believe.
Agreed. I think what I could I mean, could summarize, if I could summarize this, right? I completely concur that yes, there has to be a structure in place, there has to be hierarchy. And yes, most importantly, before you deploy, have a pre-deployment done to assess the different kind of risks that might come out. So again, thank you so much for sharing those valuable insights. Moving ahead, right? How should threat modeling evolve when AI systems today can learn, can adapt, and take autonomous decisions, which in fact covered a bit in the autonomous AI part, but how should the threat modeling evolve?
So basically, when it comes to threat modeling, what we say that what impact we will face if any incident happens. Okay, we take basically various scenarios into account. For example, if any server, okay, we always, as an incident manager, we think that can my server be hacked? Okay, with regards to my credentials, we always say that do my credentials are safe, whether it is hackable. Okay, now apart from this, we should also think, because AI is evolving, we should also think, can AI be tricked? Can the data, okay, the data poisoning is there, which is poisoning my training data. Okay, so all these factors are also taken into a consideration while not only focusing on the existing scenarios with regards to the infrastructure, but also taken into consideration of the AI, rising AI. And you must also think that if someone has manipulated, okay, someone has manipulated the intelligence, so it should not like just a technology related risk, but you should think like what are essential controls you can put to ensure that the intelligence is not manipulated. So this is what is my
Excellent.
opinion on this.
Excellent. Now, just to add on top of to the same question, right? Do we need new security layers then?
Absolutely, absolutely. The thing is, whenever any new information, okay, or any new technology is coming into a picture, there should be always an additional layer of security, because if one technology or one security control is failed, the other is there to protect. Like we say, whenever you go in banking application, login also. When you do login, you enter your first password. But in case if your password is compromised, you do have a multi-factor authentication in place. Okay, as an additional layer of security. So always there should be a two layer of security, so that one fail, other is there to protect.
Excellent. I think that really helps and sets up a corollary to what the traditional way we are trying to secure our deterministic systems. Thank you so much. So now moving ahead, right? We just spoke about the challenges, the security layers. Now let's talk about a little bit of the control part of it, right? How should we control the AI agents? Should it be like how we control the human employees, or is there a different way we should be thinking?
So basically, what I think is, um, if you ask me that, okay, should it be treated like an employee? Because normally, if in a banking firm or a fintech firm, where an employee is dealing with the customer data, who approves the loan, who has visibility on customers' data, who also triggers out an email, who manages the customer's account, if we can put financial level of controls on that particular person systems, then AI who approves your loan at such a scale and also transfers money, then also grant access to your systems. Okay, so don't you think that, okay, that there should be an identity, there should be an accountability, there should be an audit trails, okay, there should be a limit on approving of any financial transactions? Of course, yes, definitely it should be there, because AI deals the kind of massive data, the kind of massive transactions. If any bad happens with the intelligence, it can impact a major, cause a major impact on the organization from a financial, reputational, as well as from a market risk perspective. So considering all this, definitely yes, we should always pose much more restrictions as compared to humans. AI should have been more stricter. This is what I believe, because of its work, that it works faster, and it do not means it takes the decision without any hesitation. Okay, be considering this nature, I believe that AI should be more, having more stricter rules as compared to humans, what I personally believe.
Agreed. I think makes a lot of sense. Yes, I think controls have to be there, but as you rightly mentioned, it has to be human plus plus, considering the risks which inherently comes with autonomous AI agents. Thank you so much. Now, talking about from a CXO perspective, right? do you believe in involving specialized vendors to support your journey, or you want to build a full-fledged in-house team? Considering the scenario where I'm coming from is that today, some of the skills related to AI security, safety has really become very niche, and it is somewhere probably partnerships work better, and there are areas where you'd probably like to build in-house team. So how should probably a CXO think today?
So, see, the thing is, considering the limited um, source of expertise are there within your organization, in that case, you should think of outsourcing your work. But to that also, there should be some governance in place so that if you're outsourcing that particular task to any particular third-party vendor, you should have right to audit. So that whenever you conduct any audit, you should be in a position to understand where exactly your data lies, how it is handled. So how it is handled. Additionally, you also ask them a report about their infrastructure, like if they are performing any red teaming activities with regards to vulnerability assessment, penetration testing of their infrastructure. So that because normally the data that is flowing from your organization to their organization is via some medium, right? Internet. So how secure is their infrastructure? That is the first thing you should know. And how you can, by conducting a third-party audit, there should be a proper governance, okay, structured policies, third-party or vendor management policies should be in place, okay. Independent validation through a, for example, in India, that is a certain, basically computer emergency response team, India. So through that, you should ask them to provide them a report, okay. Like in Dubai, basically they are more trusting a crest vendor, okay, who is crest empanel. So similarly, I believe that should be, and also with regards to if vendor is expertise in that particular area, we should ask them to perform a knowledge transfer within our employees so that our employees are trained. See, we are building a organization where you are not having all the niche skills which are there in the market. So we can take help from them that, okay, our organization also willing to have similar kind of expertise just from a monitoring perspective. So that can you provide us a training? So there should be a proper knowledge transfer, long-term capability building, future thinking should be there. The organization should. And finally, the in-house will be wholly accountable for any decisions. So such kind of things, because even though it is a third party, but they are working on behalf of you. So you are the third party who is responsible and accountable, which I believe.
Excellent. Excellent. I think makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Now, as a CXO, with all the new technologies coming in with respect to AI, right? How do one communicate the AI risk to board so that it is both measurable and business aligned?
As a CXO, um, like I mentioned at the beginning itself, I'm good in translating the technical risk into a business solution. So both basically you should, as a CXO, you should have this thinking, and you should have that kind of that kind of tactics within you, so that because board and CEO level, they are not concerned about like what is prompt injection, what is model poisoning, what is detection. Okay, they are not concerned about this pointers. They are more concerned like what is financial reputation loss, okay, financial loss. Then what is regulatory fines, okay, what is reputational loss, what is operational risk associated. So if as a CXO, it will be better that okay to maintain your position within the organization rather than telling them into a technical language. You should tell them that okay, instead of saying like for example there is a vulnerability in your AI system. Instead of saying that, it will be better if you say it in that way that because of okay, if particular AI systems fails, there will be X financial loss, and accordingly there will be a regulatory fines exposure as well, or regulatory fines will be there. So in that way, they think that okay, there will be a financial loss, revenue loss, and also regulatory exposure or regulatory fines will be there. So instead of telling them in a technical way, if you tell them in a non-technical language, which they are more concerned of and which they are aware of, definitely you hit the bullseye, and definitely it is, and definitely your work is done. This is what I believe, and normally I do within my organization and the past organizations that I've worked, and it works.
Excellent. I think thank you so much for sharing those very insightful experiences that you have shared with us, right? So those are very helpful, probably for a CXO to ensure that the right communication goes to the board and also ensures that the organization is immune of the risks, yet in a way the board understands. So very helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, moving ahead, right? Fast forward 5 years. What does a truly AI secure enterprise look like?
So, as you know, the technology is progressing. So accordingly, the risk will increase simultaneously. Threats are increasing. CXO's responsibilities has also increased from a technology and security perspective. So I think so there will be a proper inventories of all the assets which are there, AI assets within the organization. The first thing, there will be a clear ownership who will be owning that particular assets. Okay, there will be complete accountability if any mishaps happen, who will be responsible. With regards to a critical decision making, human involvement will be there. Okay, there will be proper audit trail logs for all the decisions taken by AI systems. Okay, and I believe to, as you know, that whenever as any information security guy onboarded, the first thing they do is to target organization for getting ISO certified. So they plan for formulating policies, procedure documents through which the governance can be established. So there will be a proper governance with regards to AI that will be established within the organization. And I think so, and it should be that AI must be controlled, monitored, and accountable, just like other systems, financial systems, which are there within the organization.
Excellent. I think thank you so much. While this was a visionary take about what a true AI secure enterprise would look like, but I'm sure this visionary take, once broken down, right, would enable a management of any of the enterprises take the right decisions, which they can build for the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Finally, we are now in the last part and the last question that I have for you today. What message to all the folks in financial industry who are deploying AI agents?
So as you mentioned about the financial industry, like I'm also working into a fintech. And earlier in previous organizations, when I was there in India, I also worked in a fintech, like a banking firm. For them, for a fintech firm or a banking firm, if there is a trust, definitely there will be a business. If there is no trust, don't expect that the business will come. If there is an AI, which is there within your organization widely used, that automates, okay, moves money, approves loans, okay, or what we can say that generates regulatory reports, okay. So basically, there should be a proper control, like it should be auditable. The logs which are generated, those to be auditable properly. Otherwise, it will be like you are automating the risk which is there. Instead of protecting, you are automating the risk. This is what I can conclude. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Siddesh. I had a wonderful conversation with you. I'm sure the experience, insights, and valuable steps that you have shared will definitely add value to the viewers who are listening to this or who will be listening to this in future. So again, thank you so much for your time and for the very valuable insights that you have shared. It was a pleasure having you in our podcast.
Same here, Shubh. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.